All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. That was our show, and we'll see you here next week. Oh, I mean, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Trail Dust in first, Eric, then Jack Pines, Shane Lalonde, John Burnell, Transcendental Artist Studios, Amy Lee, how you doing? Then scrolling, we got Bortagov in the house, and I'm sure people will filter in as we go on. How are y'all doing? Excuse me, man. It's been, it's been a week. But yeah, speaking of how it's been a week, I don't know
Hey,
if that echo is translating through.
no. Well, okay, not on my end. Hey, give me just a second. I forgot to do my time. So, hey, I'm gonna need
Uh,
5 minutes. I gotta go fill out some truck tickets and my timesheet and take it over to the office. I
heard.
forgot it's Sunday, so be right back.
Yeah. What's up, Thomas? Um, I suppose I could do a how is my week, or let you guys know what I've been doing and this and that. Yeah, obviously you guys know that I wasn't here last week. Give me a second to refuel some coffee here. Man, I tell you, nothing better than the last sip of your last cup of coffee. So yeah, as most of you guys, I'm sure realized that I was not here last week. Um, Last week I was helping my brother move in. To For those of you who have been around for a long time, you guys know that I have been working on a remodel house slowly over the years, and a couple months ago, that ramped up to as quick as we possibly can, um, because my brother and his wife were moving down here from Chicago. Um, Rescues. Uh, and last week, they had pulled in, and so last weekend I was helping them unload the truck and helping them kind of set up and I mean they're not set up; it's still got to finish, painting and this and that. But yeah, it's helping them with some plumbing issues and some of the little things that little idiosyncrasies that you don't find out until you have people living in a house and it's like dang, um like the thermostat batteries are dying and because they've been in there now for 4 years. And like we're sitting there at the place yesterday and it keeps clicking and it's not sending to the relay to turn the heat pump on for air conditioning, and it's like it's getting warm in here. um so like helping them out with that, helping paint and trim and move stuff around. They've got these two gigantic desks, and they used to have it all packed into one room at their old place, and now it's like they each have their own separate offices, and room for their dogs and all that stuff, and it's great. But yeah, it's literally a massive change in um like I've been pretty much on a simple stress-free routine for the past 5 or 6 years or so, um over here in North Carolina. So it's like kind of one of those hmm you know uh they moved down, and you know now I've got friends to hang out with, like in my immediate area, and it's like, hey, Robert Lonis. Oh, oh. But yeah, so I'm kind of like, they want to go to the beach today. I don't want to go to the beach today. It's hot, you know. Um, yeah, so it's like we hung out yesterday. Well, hung out. I painted. We wrapped bacon, or wrapped hot dogs in bacon and grilled, put them on the grill, and kind of kind of getting them used to living down here. Um, yes, I did sneak onto the Discord in chat for a little bit last week, and from what I understand, it's the show went well. You know, what did you guys were here? What did you guys think of last week's show? You know, um, I'd like everybody's opinion except for John's. uh, but yeah, so while y'all type all that out and you know, clamor and type furiously to let me know what y'all thought and how you wish that I would go away and just let Adam and Alexis take over the show. But yeah, in addition to that, you know, it's like last week I believe I had teased that I got a job offer, and I had a meeting on Friday, or was it Saturday or Thursday? Thursday, I want to say, with a director of marketing that I would be working under. Hey, Robert, Mr. Whitney, and had a meeting and discussed some of the stuff with that, and it went well. He's bringing up my proposal, my offered hours and requested pay and whatnot to the COO, the chief operating officer of the company, and she likes it. It's just there's a few potential pay legality issues and this and that with me working in North Carolina, out of state, and some of the North Carolina laws concerning, basically we got to look into see if I have to create a business to contract under or whatever. It's not a direct hire situation, so I got to figure all that out. Thank you, Thomas. But yeah, so looking into that, and kind of excited for what that means. I'm gonna, the plan is for me to not overload myself right away. So I told him, well, I can guarantee between 7 and 10 hours or so a week, and so we're gonna go for that for like I think a month and see how it goes. And once I get the go ahead, and but yeah, just to give what I can. The first aspect of that job, and I'm just kind of rambling right now till Alexis gets back to give her how was your week. Basically, I got to find people who are interested in beta testing a new, some new technology and whatnot, some new technologies and this and that. It's not for a crypto coin or anything like that. It's no cost thing, so it's like it's easy. It's basically, hey, you want to test out some some programs? It's like, yeah, do I have to give you anything? No. And then I direct them to the server to work on it, or to talk about it. So it's supposedly really easy. Basically, selling something that doesn't cost anything. It's like, sure, I can try that. Because apparently I know how to talk to people. That's apparently why I was offered the job, is because I know how to talk to people. Yeah. But but you know me, I ramble on when I'm the only one on screen, so testing out some old technology, hammer and anvil and such. Yeah, I hear you. I will say this: the neat thing about being kind of away from the anvil for a bit, like being out of the shop, is it's nice that I can actually sit here and think about some things that I'd like to do, and yeah, I've got a few ideas. Being able to step back, I've thought a little bit more on my Kraken Octopus project, and how far I might want to take that. And I've got some ideas for that. Also some other ideas for other sculptures and other little projects. What's real nice is that with Lindsay and Zach moving into Windfall House, like I have a whole slew of hardwares that I can make. Like hand towel holders and such, to give to them so that they have something there. But maybe I'll just teach little Zach how to do it, and he can make what style he wants. I know he likes anime. I don't know if I can forge anime style. um, Wrought iron is so much fun. Hey Thomas, I saw that Instagram post that Roy. Why were you sitting in a 4-foot hole in Roy's shop? What was that all about? I saw that picture. What the heck? The domestic hardware channel. Yes. Speaking of content and stuff like that, that is another thing that he really wanted to do. Is like he's excited moving into the country where he can actually, like, he wants to build a fire pit. He wants to build like a brick pizza oven, and he wants to put that on his channels, and do some like cross, like I'm building with Island Metal Forge on his channels, his gaming channel, so that'll be kind of fun. Roy kicked him out and he dug his way back in. That's where he keeps him in during his breaks. Yeah, John, you're already done with your project. Shush. Hey, Roy, how you doing? I didn't know you were lurking. Uh, I'm kind of rambling and chit chatting with the chat. Most of this will probably be cut out from the podcast, because Alexis had to go do some, sign in sheets or sign out sheets. I don't, um, uh, but yeah, so, hey, Roy, no, I think I know the answer to this. You stay in the north. That's how you can deal with the heat. You stay where it's cold. Yeah. That was bad. I didn't work fast enough. No, we were planting a log for an anvil. Okay. I could have sworn, like you had made a mistake, or burned out the bottom of the coal forge, and he decided to bury you. He was planting a Thomas to grow a Thomas tree. All right, I have rambled on enough. You guys hate my voice, so I guess I done did my week. So it's your turn there. How's your week? Tell us
Yeah,
about the
well,
Bluetooth transmission.
if I was gonna say if this morning is any indication, yeah, it it's been a week. I mean, I can't really complain. Well, I mean, yeah, I can complain. 70-hour week. Got a good bit of work in, and yesterday morning, um, I mean, man, I'm forgetting all kinds of things already. Like I got 6 other things I got to get up to. Um, and anyways, yesterday morning, I'm making my lunch, and I'm cooking eggs, I'm cooking bacon, and I'm making toast all at the same time. And and I'm just frying away and flipping eggs and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, man, what is that smell? I couldn't figure out what it was. And then Kemp from the other end of the room is like, hey, are you burning something in there? And I was like, oh, toast. And I turn around and my toaster is rolling coal. I mean, just smoke pouring out of both sides. I'm like, oh, you know, grabbed them out of there, and they're extra thick rye, so they barely fit inside the toaster. And so, like, I had to pull them out, throw them in the sink, and run water on them to get them to stop smoking, and hopefully not actually catch fire when exposed to oxygen. Um, and I'm like, all right, got to start over with the toast. Not a big deal. It's today's going to be a good day. And that's what I told myself. It's like I'm bound and determined that no matter what, today's going to be a good day. Going out on a rig that's fairly busy. It's It's the one that I've gone to so many times on a Sunday where I really don't have time to do anything because it's just solid go, 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 go all day. Rig down, rig down, rig down, grab a piece, go to the new end, rig up, rig up, rig up, you know. And it was like, and those are fun because you're busy the whole time. You're not sitting around waiting and waiting and waiting and do one piece and wait a little bit more. Anyways, yeah, so we get maybe a few pieces into rigging up on the new end. I set a piece called the catwalk, which is usually the last piece, but in this case, we were able to set it early, and we still had like 8 or 9 more pieces to go. And so I went and I set the catwalk, got it done. I went out in the middle of the location, was doing an Austin Power style back and forth to get turned around and get my next one. And you know, I pulled forward and I stopped and I started to back up and things felt a little bit clunky. I was like, wait, there's some like slop in the go pedal, and I was like, not in the but in the throttle, and I was like, wait, that doesn't feel right. So I stopped and I put it in drive again and just gave it a little bit of just touch the throttle, and I was like the thunk thunk, and I was like, what the hell is that? You know, so I set the brakes and I get out, and my auxiliary transmission is laying down right in the middle of the truck. I mean, like both drive shafts still connected to it. I mean, not like they were connected to the A box, but they weren't still connected to the truck. They came out of both slip joints. And so I was like, well, that puts an early into the day. So we had to gin it up onto like with a crane and a pole truck, set it on a trailer, and then haul it in. And in order to unload it last night, we had to get another guy to neck his trailer down behind it and then push it from one trailer to the other and roll it off. It was fun. But yeah, I took a picture of it and I texted a couple of people and I was like, hey, have you seen those new Bluetooth transmissions? And they're like, what? Bluetooth transmission? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I sent a picture of my transmission laying on the ground underneath the truck. And I was like, yeah, I'm having connectivity issues right now though. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a day yesterday just to cap it off. And then this morning, like I'm literally grabbing my phone to text Amy and church is going, and then I saw the text from the boss. Where's your time? And I'm like, oh shite, I forgot. And I hadn't done a truck ticket for yesterday. I hadn't done a truck ticket from the day before, so I had to do both of those, do my time. Now hold on, I got to go back in there and get my phone, which is sitting next to my time book. I'll be right back in 10 seconds.
So, while he's gone, for those of you who don't know, I got rid of, I stopped using Facebook, and I just checked every couple of weeks and just noticed a notification that something had been removed on, if y'all remember Black Bear Forge's Facebook group from like 3 years ago, I just got notification that Facebook is taking action and removing content that goes against their community standards, on that Facebook, that archived Facebook group, and it's like one of the things is, I believe, you guys all know him, John Jude, talking about a Damascus knife. And it says it goes against our standards for, cyberbullying. And it's like, what? Way to focus on current issues, you stupid social media company, It's like, you guys are ridiculous. But anyway, just random notifications popped up. Sorry, I see you're back.
Yeah. All right. Well, so shall we dive right into today's topic?
I think we should.
All right, let's
maybe
knock this
not.
out of the way.
Maybe not. Maybe we should annoy them a little bit more with random chitter chatter.
Well, I was going to say we could knock out Magnesium right quick, and then
Yeah.
see what everybody else has to say. Okay. So I'm reading up on Magnesium, and it's one of those things. This morning, I'm like, me and Yamez get on the horn, and he's like, "What are we gonna do?" And I was like, "Let's do a metal of the week." And we haven't done one in ages. and I really wanted to do something like that is, forgeable, blacksmith related, but man, I can't think of anything we haven't covered and covered extensively. And it's like, I don't want to just rehash a show. So I was like, well, magnesium is used in a lot of alloys and a lot of alloys that we work with. And so I was like, well, but we've already done magnesium. And
And
then
it's like,
it's
well,
like,
have we?
but no, I remember us talking about this and I remember us talking about that. And I was like, now did we do magnesium, or is the Mandela effect that we've just talked about magnesium so many different times in small little conversations that we just think we've covered it? And well, we did a search and now we haven't covered it. So we're going to do magnesium today. Um,
And you're gonna
as most,
like it.
yeah, and you're going to like it whether you like it or not. So, one of the things that came to mind right off the bat for me is magnesium is a component in cast iron, and I know this because on the back of a small block Chevrolet um, is a series of numbers that give you the percentage of different alloys, and one of them is nickel, one of them is magnesium, and I don't know what the other one is. Off the top of my head, I'm sure somebody else in the chat can like Google that and look it up and be like, "Oh, you're an idiot. It's this, this, and this." Well, anyways, it's like I don't know, like 5% magnesium, 10% nickel. I don't know, whatever. But there's three numbers on the back of a block, and they're not like a casting number or serial number. They're just simply the alloy. And so it's used in cast iron for one reason or another. I don't know. I know it's there, but I didn't look it up. Um, uh, it was originally used like back in the 60s. They because it's real lightweight. It has the lowest melting point and the lowest boiling point of all the alkaline earth metals. Like 600 and change, 650 Celsius ish, and about 1,000 degrees Celsius is the melting and the boiling point. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. And so it's really, it doesn't take a lot of energy to, like melt it down to cast it, whatever. Less so than, say, iron or aluminum. And so it was usually, they were using it for wheels back in the 60s. That's where the term mag wheels comes from. You think of mag wheels and you think of the spokes, right? The 5-spoke aluminum wheels. Well, originally they were magnesium. That's where mag came from. It's not the spokes. It's the metal they're made of. And they're really lightweight, right up there with aluminum. Really strong. This was a really good idea, right up until like somebody had a blowout and the wheel hits the ground and goes skidding across the asphalt, kicking up sparks, and then the wheel ignites. And if you know anything about magnesium, once it starts burning, you can't stop it. So it burns until it uses itself up. Well, if you can imagine a wheel on fire on your car that you can't put out is going to burn the whole car down. And so, yeah, they very quickly stopped using magnesium for wheels once they realized that they would burn a whole car to the ground. And, we've witnessed this in what do you call it, in our the quad squad closing ceremonies in years past, where we'd do a live stream on Sundays, and then we'd end it with throwing a chunk of magnesium in a coal forge and just pouring
Cranking
the
it.
air to it, and and it's like, whatever you do, don't look at the forge. And now you can in the camera, but like if you're standing there in front of it, you can't look at it because it's so bright it'll cause damage. It's significantly brighter than a welder's arc. So, yeah,
Yeah.
magnesium is really fun in that respect. It's as a use, like as a pure metal, it's very brittle and it's got like zero shear strength. It shears really easy, but alloying it with as little as 1% aluminum changes that completely, and it becomes really a really strong alloy just with just 1% aluminum. I mean that with such a small amount, it really amazes me that it can make so much of a big difference. Um, and of course, as goes with the sciencey stuff, it's chemical number 12. It's produced in large aging stars by adding sequentially 3 helium nuclei to a carbon nucleus, and then when those stars explode, it gets puked out into the universe to get used again. It is I believe, the 11th most common element on Earth, and makes up 13% of the Earth's mass. That's a lot. It's also the third most common dissolved element in seawater, behind sodium and chlorine. So it's in seawater as magnesium chloride. It's a sea salt, and almost all of the magnesium on Earth is produced by the dissolution of that salt. So basically, you take because you can separate out the sodium, the magnesium, the potassium, and the calcium chlorides, which are primarily the salts that make up the salt in the ocean. There are some perchlorates in there as well, but mostly it's just the chlorides with the alkaline metals. And you can separate those out, and then you can take any one of them and put it in a pan and liquefy it, and then run a current across it. Hook a negative to the pan, and a positive, the cathode, is dipped in the molten sodium or the molten magnesium chloride, sodium chloride or magnesium chloride, and then that current will cause the dissolution. It'll make the little bubbles of pure metal pop up. Now, with like sodium and calcium, they're very air reactive, and so they will actually catch on fire and burn when exposed to the air, similar to like lithium will. So there's special precautions that have to be taken with that. Magnesium, however, does not do so. It will burn in contact with air and water, but it's so reactive that it immediately forms an oxide layer that is almost impenetrable and almost impossible to remove. Um, let's see. There was something here neat I wanted to go across. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vroom, vroom,
Right.
vroom.
So it's when it's exposed, when the pure metal is exposed to air, it tarnishes slightly, and then and like I was just saying, then and then you can't get that off, and that's what can uh, uh, prevents it from continuously degrading into magnesium oxide or magnesium two oxide. Um, Magnesium reacts. Okay, here's the interesting part, and I'm just going to read it. Magnesium reacts with water at room temperature, though it reacts much more slowly than calcium, a similar group 2 metal. When submerged in water, hydrogen bubbles form slowly on the surface of the metal, and if powdered, it reacts much more rapidly. The reaction occurs faster with higher temperatures. See safety precautions. Magnesium's reversible reaction with water can be harnessed to store energy and run a magnesium engine. Magnesium also reacts exothermically with most acids, such as hydrochloric acid, producing the metal chloride and hydrogen gas, similar to the HCl reaction with aluminum and zinc and many other metals. And so basically, the I had to look this up because I'd never heard of a magnesium engine, and it's just this neat little thing that was a prototype. Who was it developed by? Was it Mitsubishi?
Toyota, I think you
I
said.
Yeah, something like that. Anyways, and basically, it takes magnesium in water, and fuck. I wasn't gonna do this,
Creates
but yeah,
creates hydrogen.
it's a magnesium injection cycle engine, called the acronym is MAGIC, and so it's magnesium powder and in water at room temperature, and it produces high energy steam and hydrogen, and the hydrogen is burned at the same time to produce more high energy steam, and the two steam sources power the engine. So it's basically a steam engine, and then it produces no carbon dioxide or any other harmful emissions, and then you can use a solar panel to create an electrical current that will split the magnesium and the oxygen, and you recover the magnesium. So it's like it's a closed cycle where the only thing that's used up is the water, and so the magnesium is recycled and reused 100%. I mean, like all of it is recoverable and reusable. So the magnesium just gets split and then split and then split and then split, and it produces heat in both reactions. It's pretty neat. And I think the prototype on that thing was like 2005 is when they started on it, and they in 2006 they said they were going to have they'd have more like have a working prototype. Well, they do have a working prototype, but it would be like beginning production in 3 years, and then I've never heard anything about it, so I'm assuming that
Big oil stopped them.
yeah, for lack of a better word, somewhere along the ways, the project got shit canned. And yeah, I mean that just happened. Yeah, it could have been big oil, or it could have been just not feasible. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's
That's
entirely
right.
possible that that's just while it's neat and unique, it's the 12 kilowatt hours of heat that it produces is maybe not enough to be practical for anything.
Well,
Especially especially with, I mean, and at the time, I believe at the time is when Tesla was up and coming, and so not only would you have to be competing with an regular internal combustion engine that burns fossil fuels, you'd also have to be competing or looking at the potential competition and going, okay, well, these electric cars are never going to take off. Nobody's going to want an electric car. I mean,
I mean,
that's
right?
that's just yeah, nobody would want one because they're useless. You can't do anything with them, and you can't go anywhere with them because you always have to
Here,
recharge them. Well,
here.
turns out so many people were said that, and turns out that yeah, that might have, I don't know, maybe they decided that was going to get more legs than a magnesium engine because the magnesium engine just never went anywhere, and I can't say why because it was all kind of a hush hush thing with in house with Mitsubishi, and they didn't really release a whole lot of information about it. And
I
short
want
of
to.
like building one myself,
I say that we make that our quad state project this September.
yep,
Let's
for
make
the next
a
10 years,
yeah.
a
Let's
little bit
make
further on the
a,
magnesium engine.
let's no. We could do it in a week. Let's make a magnesium steam turbine. So that the goal is to turn an output shaft. You know, using a magnesium steam turbine.
Magnesium is eighth most abundant, not 11th. So,
I'm right there with you, Eric. Eric goes, steam engines can be dangerous. I want one. I know.
right?
All I'm thinking of is setting one up in my shop to run a shaft to run all my machines. My
How cool would that?
machines. I
How cool would that
know.
be to have a steam engine like running your line drive? I mean, like,
I know. Oh, that would be glorious.
and then you just have one of them old steam whistles attached to your pop off. So if it gets overpressured, it's just like, whoo!
What's up, Ben?
We got a little
Michael?
pressure build up there,
Right? Oh, my neighbors would hate me, or love me, or they'd think it's so cool, you know.
right? I mean, but
Oh,
think about that. I mean, you could literally, if you built a steam engine to run a shaft drive or a line drive, you could just like set it back there and light a fire. Just like a wood fire. I mean, coal fire, whatever. I mean, yeah, it'd probably use a lot of fuel, and well, I mean, it'd be neat. It really would. But I mean, cost of fuel, it might not be the most efficient way to go, but it'd
um,
be neat.
I
Now I'm
have
now
ma-
now
I have
now you got me.
magnesium. I have magnesium. Somewhere I've got a solar cell that I could set up a solar laser to heat it, and I have somewhere I have a nice collection of dihydrogen monoxide.
Mm-hmm. I bet you could find some of that.
Yeah, easily. It's all over the floor in my shop. I mean, it's in the air and it's freaking humid here, you know. But uh yeah,
So
I think that would be awesome to try and build that. How much brass would it require?
hmm, a lot.
Mm,
As of
mm,
2013, magnesium alloy consumption was less than 1 million tons per year, compared with 50 million tons of aluminum alloys.
yeah.
Magnesium's use has historically been limited by the tendency of magnesium alloys to corrode, creep, and combust.
Yeah. Yeah, and on the mag wheels, it's like kind of like the maglev trains. It's like those are magnesium levitation. It uses, the same kind of process to levitate magnesium to push trains. Is that correct?
Yeah, uh-huh.
All right. I'm
Um,
horrible.
the tendency of magnesium to creep can be eliminated fairly easily with the addition of a small amount of scandium and gadolinium, and then flammability is reduced by just a little bit of calcium. And by using rare earths, it's possible to manufacture alloys with the ignition temperature higher than magnesium's liquid state. And so basically, and even getting it up there close to boiling. So by adding some things like a little bit of niobium to it, it brings it up to where it won't burn until it's close to boiling.
Well,
Um,
I just had a thought, and
and here's a good point: is the magnesium alloy that we burn liquefies before it burns. So its flammability is above its solid state. So it
it's
has to
just
be
a
at least liquid to burn. And I mean, obviously, we can't see down to the tuyer and see if it's boiling or not. But
yeah. Well, you shouldn't, at least.
yeah, no, not
Yeah,
without a welding hood.
yeah. But no, I mean, as far as fun in the forge goes with magnesium, to kind of tie it to blacksmithing so that John Burnell doesn't get all pissy with me. Um, it's a fun thing. Like, I've got a bag of magnesium shavings, and I've got a bunch of chunks of magnesium in my shop, and it's fun, especially at Quad State when you have a whole bunch of people forging, to walk around with the pocket full of magnesium and just be like, magic blacksmith dust fuzzy, just like right over people. Oh, Brian Brazil got so pissed off when I did that. Just walk around pinching some magnesium into people's forges.
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, like, and it's funny because if you especially if you don't know it's there and you just go over there, you stick your steel back in, you give her a couple cranks, all of a sudden this white just like, what's going on? So
yeah.
so uh
Hey, Lindsay,
ask me about my isotope.
ask me about my isotopes. Um, yeah, people were already wondering what the magnesium isotopes were. I will take a pause right quick. Wawa Skittles popped in. That is Lindsay. That means she's awake. And side note, hit me up in our Forge Chat Discord or whatever, or on the Discord after the show. I have invited Alexis to the gaming Discord. Anyway, yeah, isotopes for magnesium, because magnesium does have isotopes, and we know that Alexis loves talking isotopes, and you guys love hearing about isotopes. It's the one thing that we cannot get you guys to stop talking about. Like, anytime we bring up isotopes, our viewership skyrockets, our numbers, our algorithms, everything just goes. It's like the world wants to hear you talk about isotopes, Alexis. So,
Turns out magnesium has three stable isotopes: magnesium 24, 25, and 26, and they're all fairly common in nature and randomly dispersed. About 79% is magnesium 24. 28 is actually radioactive, and in the 50s through the 70s, it was produced by several nuclear power plants for use in for scientific experiments and stuff like that, like the
science.
radionucleotides they use in treating cancer stuff are all very short half life things, so that it's like it gets in you, it gives you a bit of radiation, but it slowly goes away. So yeah, magnesium 26 has a half life of 21 hours, so its use was very limited to shipping time. I mean, you got to get it there if you got a 21-hour half life, you got to get it there in half that time, to really be worth it. Darn. Um, 26 has been found application in isotopic geology, similar to that of aluminum. 26 magnesium is radiogenic. It's a radiogenic daughter of 26 aluminum, which has a half-life of 717,000 years. Excessive quantities of stable 26 magnesium have been observed in the calcium aluminum rich inclusions of some of the carbonaceous chondrite meteorites. Oh, that's interesting. Um, it's conventional to plot 24 magnesium, 26 magnesium, 24 magnesium, and against an aluminum magnesium ratio. And yeah. That has nothing that I notice as thing. But that's all of it. There's three stable isotopes of magnesium, um, and then 28 is unstable radioactive with a 21-hour half life, and that are the nucleotides of magnesium. 24, 25, and 26 are all interchangeable. They're your chunk of magnesium that you're fixing to throw into the forge is probably 75% one, and then the other 25% is an even mixture of the other two. So I mean, they all have the same properties basically.
Right.
Um, yeah, and that's what I have for magnesium. I mean, the rest of it's just kind of. Oh wait, no, here we go. Magnesium is the third most commonly used structural metal, following iron and aluminum. The main applications of magnesium, in order, are aluminum alloys, die casting, alloyed with zinc, removing sulfur in the production of iron and steel. Oh, that's why that's there. And the production of titanium in the Kroll process. Magnesium is used in lightweight materials and alloys. For example, when infused with silicon carbide nanoparticles, it has an extremely high specific strength. Um, Magnesium used to be one of the main aerospace construction metals and was used in German military aircraft as early as World War One. And it was used extensively in German aircraft in World War II. They coined the name electron for the magnesium alloy, a term which is still used today in the commercial aerospace industry. Magnesium was usually restricted to engine-related components due to fire and corrosion hazards. Its use in aerospace is increasing in the 21st century, driven by the importance of fuel economy. Recent developments in metallurgy and manufacturing have allowed the potential for magnesium alloys to act as replacements for aluminum and steel alloys in certain applications. Mercedes-Benz used electron in the bodywork of early Mercedes 300 SLRs. These competed in the 1955 World Sports Car Championship. It competed at Le Mans and was involved in the 1955 Le Mans disaster when spectators were showered with burning fragments of magnesium. Yeah, that would suck.
Right.
Porsche used magnesium alloy frames in the 917 that won Le Mans in 1971, and continues to use magnesium alloys for its engine blocks due to the lightweight advantage. Uh, Volkswagen Group has used magnesium in its engine components for many years. Um, Mitsubishi uses magnesium for its paddle shifters. BMW uses magnesium alloy blocks in their N52 engine, including an aluminum alloy insert for the cylinder walls and cooling jackets surrounded by high temperature magnesium alloy AJ62A. The engine was used worldwide between 2005 and 2011 in various 1, 3, 5, 6, and 7 series models, as well as the Z4, X1, X3, and X5. Chevrolet used the magnesium alloy AE44 in the 2006 Corvette Z06. Both AJ62A and AE44 are recent developments in high temperature, low creep magnesium alloys. The general strategy for such alloys is to form intermetallic precipitates at the grain boundaries. For example, by adding a mish metal or calcium. And it's used in some electronics, and it wasn't really mentioned here, but historically speaking, even in from the 80s, something that was always caution to me is the reason that like the upper control arm on a Corvette is like $800 is because they've always been made of magnesium. So there are these real small tubular control arms that are made of magnesium. And so you definitely don't want to grab one of those thinking it's an aluminum and go, oh, I'm just going to melt this down and pour a new bar out of it, like you can do with aluminum stuff. Because if it's not of the high temp variety that its ignition point is above its liquefying point, instead of really melting, it'll instead catch fire and burn until it no longer exists, which, that would always be fun. And the rest of it, it's also really important in the human body. Like 300 different enzymes in the body require magnesium for function, and it's essential to DNA and RNA. Basically, you can't survive without it. It's one of those things you have to have, and that's what I have for magnesium.
Sorry. I had to do a little bit of a hoo. I put a picture up while you were giving that the ask me about my isotopes. I put it in the chat and yeah, make it into a t-shirt or something.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So magnesium is. It's in our bodies. It makes up like I don't know. Oh, I know what it is. It's 12% of of a human by body weight is magnesium, and it's in our bones. It's stored in our bones primarily.
Excellent question, Eric.
How do you tell if it's aluminum or magnesium? I don't know.
Here's one way to test if you have some in your shop. Like me, I have blocks of aluminum and I have blocks of magnesium. What I would do is shave a little bit off, toss it into a fire, and see if it, add some air and see if it lights up, or if it just melts.
Yeah, like if you take like over a sheet of paper and you just take a hacksaw and just scrape off a little the little fine grains that come off from a hacksaw. You can sprinkle that in a fire, and you'll know right away if it's magnesium because it'll burn. You'll see bright white.
Yeah,
what
that's
are they?
The easiest sparkles.
Bright white sparklers. But if it's aluminum, it won't do that. They'll just fall in there and melt. And you won't notice any difference. That's an easy way to do it. Like, I'm sure there are way more complicated chemical ways to like tell the difference. And it may be even as easy as color, but I don't think so. I think the color
they look pretty close. They look pretty close. I know that and when you buy like a commercial like Flint Striker, fire starter kit, like it's got the a magnesium. It's basically a chunk of magnesium with a flint bar that's attached to it. And like what you do is you shave off some of the magnesium, and then you take your knife and you strike it against the flint, and the sparks from the flint and the steel hit the magnesium, and then the magnesium, and that's what you put some tinder on that. Now the actual tinder, not that goes before the kindling, not Tinder the app, and that joke just ruined me. Right? That joke was bad, and I should feel bad. Yeah, bright white like titanium sparks, Shane. And that's
I was typing that, but yeah. Yeah, magnesium. The color of magnesium burning is very similar to the bright white of titanium. If you've ever hit a piece of titanium on a belt grinder, you go, "Ooh, pretty colors." And if you've ever hit a piece of aluminum on there, there's no colors.
Yeah.
And you just go, "Oh, well, that just clogged up my belt."
Yeah, I love messing with titanium. I do. One of these days, I'm gonna buy a couple of bars and make some titanium tongs just because they're so lightweight. They're so lightweight,
But they're so expensive. Oh my gosh!
I don't care.
That one piece that I bought, it was 10 millimeters by 100 millimeters, was $40.
I don't care.
$40 for, oh man, half inch by 7.
I don't care.
if
I hit it big on crypto, you know what I'm going to end up doing? I'm going to be buying a whole bunch of titanium bar stock and remaking all of my tools, except for my hammers, of course, out of titanium. I'm going to be making my punches out of titanium. I'm going to be making my tongs out of titanium. Everything titanium.
I'm telling you, because with we kind of magnesium tongs. oh, they're on fire. That's not how they go faster. Oh no! And then you just like throw it out in the yard and just wait for them to go out. You know.
And that's how you start fires. You know.
Yeah, but no, titanium tongue. I mean, you could forge with them all day, and then just like grab them right behind the rivet and be like, huh, "They're still cold. How about that?" You know that
Yeah.
no transfer of heat energy.
Yeah. I want.
And so
I want.
someday I want to set a titanium tongs. It's just I can't afford the stock to make them.
I want a set of titanium bolt jaw tongs. You know.
Yeah, that's a good point, Eric. Making titanium hammers, they'll be really big and you'll look really strong. Have this big old like
Mjolnir.
yeah, Jolinar size hammer, you know, that's like this, and it weighs like 2 pounds. Just
Yeah.
like, and you're swinging it from the end of the handle, you know, and it's, you know, you're not even choked up on it. You're like, yeah, it's no big deal.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'd kind of like to have a titanium hammer just to have one. It wouldn't. The math on it sounds like it would not work as a hammer, even though they make titanium roofing or carpenter's hammers. It just it does not make sense to me.
I know. I did watch the Timothy Dick. Where he made a titanium hammer, and yeah, but it's the same thing. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I
It
would
might.
think you want smaller and heavier than bigger and lighter. I mean, you know what I mean? Because you're I mean, like I think a tungsten hammer would be freaking amazing because it would be like a you know say our average forging hammer weight is like 2.5 pounds, whatever. It would be half this for the same weight. It would be half the size if it was made out of tungsten, you know, or cobalt. Well, maybe not cobalt because that's a whole different story. But yeah, a tungsten alloy hammer would be amazing and little bitty.
My
I
leafing
mean,
hammer would be great in tungsten.
it concentrates the forces in a much smaller area. You know, you get more pounds per square inch of force because you're dealing with a smaller area. Rolling Acres
What's up,
Forge
Rolling
with
Acres? Yeah, harder to miss the nail when the head is big. That's you know. Yep, that's my theory. Harder to miss the spot when you're trying to hit when the tool is bigger than the spot itself. That's my
yeah,
motto
it
in life.
I don't know, but I mean, now that we mention it, I mean, because I did watch that Timothy Dick video, and and the whole time I'm like, but why? But why? You know, not under. I mean, like, and I still, I mean, like, it's still a head scratcher to me. But yeah, and you know, just now in the conversation, I was like, tungsten would be a much better choice. Now I'm like, wait a minute. Now you can't like get tungsten hot and punch it, but
But you can
man,
machine a hammer out of it.
I could there you go. I could machine yeah, I could machine it into a hammer. Well, I couldn't because I don't have the tools to do that. But I mean, you know.
It could, one could machine it into a hammer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, that would be an
I'm
expensive hammer because I mean the amount of tooling it's going to burn up to machine a tungsten hammer because I mean that's kind of like you know the cutters are tungsten carbide, you know.
You know why it's so heavy? All the isotopes. It is loaded with isotopes. And as we all
Oh
know,
yeah.
isotopes are extremely heavy.
And all the stuff that's like all the stuff that's heavier than that is all soft, you know, like uh, lead, silver, platinum, you know, uranium, you know. I mean, uh, yeah, there we go. Get a depleted uranium hammer. Hulk
Yeah.
smash.
Well, so we've digressed from magnesium to titanium to tungsten.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you
yeah.
almost brought us into cobalt. So I say we put a pin in that and we go on to our final thoughts of the day.
All right. Yeah,
And
I do have a heart out today. As far
yeah,
as
me
I
too,
know.
actually.
Yeah. So my final thoughts. Magnesium is an absolutely fascinating metal. my first actual experience with it was, way back in the day. I mean, 25 years ago, being warned about the control arms on Corvettes, and where mag wheels came from. That was before I was ever had anything to do with metalworking. I had learned that stuff by older people that were, passing on knowledge. Eric, you can't punch tungsten because you can't get it hot enough to punch. Its melting point is like 7,500 degrees Fahrenheit, and so like its forgeability temperature is like 6,000, 6,500, somewhere in that area. I cannot achieve that temperature no matter how much I try. Not without wicked expensive equipment. So, anyways, yeah, magnesium is it's used in a lot of different things. Mostly in like these days in engine blocks and stuff like that. Perhaps still there are some Corvette components that are made out of magnesium. Although with the Corvette switching to the mid-engine design, I mean, like the entire underneath of that thing is completely different than ever was before. So I couldn't say. Um, I will say though, if you have some magnesium, um, in small amounts, throw it in a fire. It's good fun. Just don't look at it. Just do me a favor and don't look at it while you burn. Look at the wall off to the side, whatever. But yeah, dropping that in a coal forge and cranking it on the air is really fun. And if you don't have that, I mean, you can do it with a oxyacetylene torch too. You just pull up on it and just and it'll light. But fun stuff, useful in the body, useful in the forge when you might want to make a show, and that's all I've got. So y'all have a great week. Stay safe out there. Stay hydrated, and I hope you all get to join us again next week for another edition of Impractical Blacksmithing. And yeah, y'all have a good week. If you can't be good at it.
Yeah. My final thoughts before we get to Adam's outro is the usual. It's like, we want to thank all of you guys for showing up and thank all of y'all for putting up with us. Big thanks to my co-hosts for keeping this show entertaining and informative. And, as a side note on the evening streams for the summer, I will probably be taking a break today as well. We are in heat indexes of the triple digits, and it is getting cloudy, so I guess there might be rain coming today. Don't know. But in the meantime, I have, been trying to decide to toss up a little, more shorts here and there. I've given Adam and Alexis permission. Well, not permission. I mean, they've always had the ability to permission, but, giving them the idea to, toss up some shorts of their own, of, day in the life behind the scenes of Island Metal Forge and company, So yeah, with that, you all have a great day, and I want you all to pay attention and listen, put all your ears and eyes to, our sweet Australian co-host that we miss greatly today as he tells us about everything else. Just gotta switch it over. I gotta make it
just say thank you very much for listening, guys. You can find Yames on Island Metal Forge on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can find Alex at Transcendental Artist Studios on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can find me, Adam, at Speargrass Forge on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. If you have any suggestions for Tool of the Week, Metal of the Week, or any other topic, you can leave them under the hashtag Metal of the Week in the YouTube community chat in Discord, or you can email us at impracticalblacksmiths@gmail.com. If you found us on Anchor, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, or Google Podcasts, we upload generally every Wednesday, or you can join us live every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's currently 12:30 a.m. Australian Central Standard Time on Monday morning. However, you should check that against your local time, and that's located at the Island Metal Forge YouTube channel. Finally, thanks for joining us, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, or give us a star rating if you found us on one of the podcasts, and we appreciate your support. Now,
and thank you, Adam. Always great to have you pop in randomly at the end of the show. So, with that, y'all stay safe, and thank you for asking us about our isotopes. I'll let y'all get going, and scene.